Bismillahir Rahmanir Rahim. Alhamdulillah wa salatu wa salamu ala Rasulillah wa ala alihi wa man wala. So boys, we're getting you all married inshallah. Yeah, we're getting you married. Therefore you need to know what will make that marriage valid. Because you don't want to be married for 6 months, 6 years, and then learn the fiqh and then realize, hang on, I actually did not do some of those things I was supposed to on the marriage day. So does that mean I'm not in a valid marriage? Yeah? طيب. So we'll talk about nikah, inshallah ta'ala. We started it last week. We had a discussion about what qualities to look for in a spouse. And there were some du'as as well that you saw on page 255. And all of those du'as absolutely apologies. All those du'as are from the Quran. Yeah? The first one being the most common one, رَبَّنَا آتِنَا فِي الدُّنْيَا حَسَنَةً وَفِي الْآخِرَةِ حَسَنَةً وَقِنَا عَذَابَ النَّارِ رَبِّي إِنِّي لِمَا أَنزَلْتَ إِلَيَّ مِنْ خَيْرٍ فَقِيرٌ. There's a very common dua in Surah Qasas. You know when Musa alayhi salam sat under the tree? Yeah? And he made this dua. What happens very soon after? He gets married. That's why this dua is normally used for seeking the right partner. Page 256. Before marriage, what sort of relationship are we allowed to have, boys or men, with ladies or girls? Rohan, any answer?
What was the question, sir?
The question was, what kind of relationship is allowed between a man and a lady?
Isn't it like you're not allowed like physical contact and that you're just allowed to like speak with someone else?
Okay.
Husband and wife.
Okay.
Was it the same thing?
Okay. I always I always use this word. Professional relationship. Have a professional relationship. Yeah, of course, we're not talking about a husband and a wife. There's no restriction for husband and wife. We're talking about a man and a woman who are not related. We're not talking about you with your relationship with your mom, your relationship with your sister. We're talking about just sisters. You know, sisters who come here for Quran courses. You're coming up these stairs and you see a few sisters going down. Will you be like, hey? No, that wouldn't be a professional relationship. All right? The reason why I use this word is, you know, when you are at school, when you're at work, when you're even at the shop, you don't start chatting people up. You talk to them about the things that you need. You only talk when there is a genuine need. Yeah? So the sisters coming up or coming down, maybe there's a problem with the door, they can't open it. What would be a professional attitude at that moment? To help open it. If you need to talk to them, talk to them. But beyond that, sister, mashallah, your hijab is very nice. Yeah, that color, it just goes with your complexion. Really nice, mashallah. Cute. No, you don't. That would be completely outside the barrier of professionalism. Because you don't know this person. She is as good as a person at the counter or the till in Tesco. Pretty much. Yeah? So keep it professional. And therefore, it's haram to have any relationship before marriage. Texting. Assalamu alaikum, sister, we exchanged number today in the bus. If you remember me. No. Why? There's no need. Right? There's absolutely no need. And categorically, it's haram. What does haram mean? If you persist in that action, that relationship, you're going to earn the displeasure of Allah subhanahu wa ta'ala. Even after a couple are engaged, and you know, this concept of engagement, okay? This concept of engagement, it's a false conception. In Islam, you don't have anything called engagement. You only have one thing.
Nikah.
That's it. Because engagement is setting you up for a haram relationship. Isn't it? When you're engaged, then you're like, oh, I wonder what my future wife is doing at the moment. Let me drop her a text message. What's for dinner tonight? What have you? And then before you know it, both of you are awake throughout the whole night texting away. Yeah, breakfast time has come. You started at dinner time. Do you understand? Do you see the slippery slope? And therefore, engagement is not really an Islamic concept. If you must, because you want to book that person, as in, that's it. She is going to be my wife, no one else. Okay? But then keep the relationship, again, professional to an extent. Okay? So you need to buy a ring. Okay? You need to buy a ring. Okay? You need to go out shopping together. Fine. But would that be allowed?
No, with the third person.
Yes. You need to have people around you, and don't be so kuchi-kui. Again, professional. Until the marriage has happened, it has to be very professional. Do you understand where I'm coming from? Okay, so the reason why I'm having this discussion with you is because you, as boys, may not have a choice. Perhaps your cultural practice is that you have engagement. So now you know, if you do have an engagement, how you go about that relationship. And guide your parents as well. Tell your parents, Mom, it's all sorted. I don't want to do too much free mixing. It would be against my ethos, my ethics, my religious view about it. Okay? And I'm pretty sure your parents will respect that. So even after a couple are engaged, it is permissible for them to have, it is not permissible for them to have physical contact with one another. Of course. And physical contact, we're talking about just touch. Forget anything else that goes beyond. Right? People get too cozy and comfortable. They're sitting next to each other, feeding each other ice cream, sitting on each other's lap. Astaghfirullah. Yep. And this is what Allah subhanahu wa ta'ala warns us from. He says, وَلَا تَتَّبِعُوا خُطُوَاتِ الشَّيْطَانِ. Allah subhanahu wa ta'ala does not say, don't follow shaitan. Duh. Right? He says, don't follow the footsteps of shaitan. Why? The footsteps themselves are perhaps not haram itself, but you know what shaitan will do? He will rope you in. He will reel you in slowly but surely until you don't realize you're actually in the haram. He will say, look, both of you are engaged. Why are you sat there and the lady is sat here? It doesn't look good. You're being too professional. It's okay for you to sit a bit close. Bit close, next week a bit close, next week a bit close, then on each other's lap. Really. And then touching each other. And then slippery slope. And you see that in the open in sixth form college, Oldham sixth form college around there. And they don't have any shame, these girls. I mean, they're hijabis. They're giving hijab a bad name. I'd rather they did not wear hijab. I'd rather they learned the etiquettes, the manners, the morals that Islam lays down before they put on a piece of cloth on their head. A piece of cloth is supposed to show that you're a modest person. But you're actually, through your action, you're showing you're anything but modest. There's no modesty. Yeah? Before marrying a person, it is permissible to see them. See what? Sister, I need to see your hair color. Take your hijab off. No. You can't. Yeah? You can ask questions. I mean, it would be a bit too probing. Sister, are you a blondie or... but you wouldn't want to take the... You are not allowed to see their aura. Aura, for a lady, an aura is what?
The whole body.
Everything apart from the face and hands.
Face, hands and feet. Okay? Some say not the feet. At prayer time, the difference. And for men, the aura is?
From navel to knees.
Sure, but if you are going for a prospective lady and then you are in your shorts because your aura is navel to knees, do you understand where I'm coming from? Yeah? So you want to cover yourself properly. So it is permissible to see them. This should be done in the most modest and appropriate manner with a third party present. What did Prophet ﷺ say? That there is not a time when a man and woman is alone except there is a third person. Yes. So let that third person be a mutual friend, family member. Yeah. Sometimes, you're getting married to somebody, for God's sake. You're going to spend the next 40, 50 years. You need to know them, of course. Go to Costa, go to wherever, sit down over a cup of coffee, find the suitability, whether you match each other, your likes and dislikes, whether they overlap. No problem. You need 7 meetings, have 7 meetings. Have a third person always with you. They can sip away in their coffee in the corner. Yeah? Or you want to meet in the shop, in a busy shop floor, no problem. Have somebody overlooking you. Yeah? And actually, if anything, nowadays, things are so dangerous, it protects you. Because what's the guarantee that this sister is not going to go and report you to the police and say, this person harassed me? Do you understand where I'm coming from? Yeah? Or the brother could say something bad nasty about the sister, that this sister going around and saying all sorts of things in the community, this sister is really bad, she is low, But if you have a third person or a fourth person, one person or two people, then none of the parties can do that. So both of their dignities remain safe. Yeah? It's very important. Who can I not marry? Who could you not marry? Ooh, it's bad. Okay.
There's one kit there. There might be something.
What kit?
It says like candlelight or something.
This one?
Yeah, there's like white stuff.
Yeah. I'll use this maybe. This might work. It's better. So who could you not marry? Common sense suggests what? So let's say this is you. Okay? This is you with your funky hairstyle. Okay? You came from a mom and a dad, right? Like this, maybe. Mom and a dad. So that's the dad, that's the mom. Okay. From the dad side, let me just take the dad side, okay? The dad came from his mom and dad, okay? That would be, in relation to you, that would be what?
Grandma and grandfather.
That's right, grandmother and grandfather, okay? So, grandfather and grandmother, okay? You here have a brother. That's your brother. Okay. You also have a sister. Okay. Naturally, you cannot get married to your brother or sister. How about your brother who is married to a lady? Of course, she's married to a lady. She can't be married to a, right? That would be your sister-in-law, right? And they have a child. Okay, a little boy. He's your what? Nephew. Okay. They also, and this sister, she's married to a man. Okay, and they have a daughter. Niece. This sister is bigger than you. Therefore, the daughter is maybe similar age to you. Okay? Could you get married to this girl? No. You wouldn't. Okay? How about you? So your dad now has an uncle. Okay? He's married to another lady. And both of them have a daughter who is also your age. Who is she to you, by the way?
Cousin.
Cousin sister, right? Could you marry her?
Oh, yeah.
You could.
Yeah.
Cousin, you could. Yeah? But not the nephew or the niece. Not the nephew, obviously, but not the niece. Do you understand? So do you see this way, this branching down? You can't. When you go up, you can't either. Okay? Sorry? It is weird. Yeah, it is weird and it's not recommended. It can cause all sorts of biological issues.
So you could marry your first cousin. That's Pakistan.
Yeah, I suppose. You have someone in mind?
No. I thought it was about what you want. I thought it was about this one.
Yeah. Tonight you can go to sleep happy. Okay, so have a look at it. Parents, grandparents. Okay, if you had children, if you're already married, if you had children, of course, right? Grandchildren as well. So 1 level down, 2 level down, grandchildren as well. Brothers and sisters and their kids, nephew and nieces, mothers and mothers, brothers or sisters. So your mother has brother and sister, you could not get married to them either. Okay? Common sense. Right. All of these is what kind of relationship?
Family.
Sure, blood relationship. Your own blood. You share your mom and dad's blood. Right? Your sisters and brothers, they share your blood. Your nephew and niece, they have same blood. Right? So it's all blood relationship. Okay. How about other kinds of relationship? For example, when you get married to somebody, they are not related to you by blood. You're now related to them because of marriage. Okay? So, therefore, that person who you get married to, that lady, her parents, you could not get married to them. Okay? So, parents of spouse. Then, the spouse of one's children. Spouse of one's children. What does that mean? Spouse of one's children. So, you get married, yeah, exactly. You get married to a lady. That lady, let's say, she's the stepmother of another child. Okay? You could not potentially get married to that child. There's actually a caveat. This is not what's meant. There's a caveat. You could technically. Okay? Okay, so let's do it this way. This is difficult otherwise. Let's say you're getting married to a lady. This lady was married before. Is it allowed?
If she's divorced, yeah.
Very much, yeah. Nowadays it's a taboo, but back in the days, Prophet ﷺ's time, marriage used to take just like that. Okay, it's more fluid. She has a daughter. Okay, now let's say you are 25 and this lady is I don't know, she's probably 35. Okay, she got married quite early as well. Why are you looking at Ibrahim? I don't think his cousin is older than. Okay, and the daughter, let's say the daughter is 16. Okay, so she's definitely mature, as in age to get married. Could you get married to her?
Yes.
Legal.
No. This is not stepdaughter. This is real daughter we're talking about. Okay, so you could not get married to her now. Okay, if she was a stepdaughter, that's a different thing. Okay, you could. Huh?
How is she? Wait.
We're going to come to that. Okay, so is that clear? Parents of spouse, i.e., this lady that you're getting married to, her parents you could not get married to. That's clear. Okay. Spouse of one. Oh, sorry. Okay, this is not there in the book, but this is a concept anyway. Step parents. Let's say this daughter is not her own daughter. Step. You could not get married. Stepchildren, if your marriage, okay, that will come later on. Spouse of one's children. So this daughter, let's say she's married to a boy. Or actually, let's say she has a son, and son is 16. He's married to a girl who is 16 as well. Could you get married to this girl?
No.
No. Yeah. So that's clear cut, absolutely haram. You wouldn't be allowed to do that. Okay. So these are the two kinds of relationship. Okay. One is what? Blood relationship. The other one is relationship through marriage. And the third kind of relationship is foster relationship. What is foster relationship? You adopt someone. Yeah, exactly. Yeah, you adopt someone, and how do you establish that relationship? The mother who adopts the child would usually breastfeed them. Okay. A woman who breastfed you before the age of 2. So, your mom wouldn't be the only person who fed you. In the Arab world, in their culture, it could be any lady who comes and breastfeeds you. And that would be the norm, that ladies from outside the household would come and breastfeed. And they would do that in return for money, because there are ladies who find it difficult to breastfeed, right? But there are other ladies who Allah subhanahu wa ta'ala has gifted them with that ability, with that capacity. They would come and breastfeed. And they say that the milk of the mother is the most nutritious, pure nutritious, the milk of a mother or milk of a lady. Okay, so and that's why that culture was so prevalent. Prophet ﷺ was actually nurtured by somebody else other than his own mother, outside somewhere, outside the town, because of purity and because of obviously the nutrition. The husband of the woman who breastfed you before the age of 2. The husband of the woman who breastfed you before the age of 2. So, not you guys, but let's say a lady. We're talking about a girl now. Talking about a girl. She is the stepdaughter of another lady. And this lady obviously is married to somebody. You wouldn't be able to get married to this man. That's what it means. Okay? Anybody who was breastfed by the... So what you can see is, let me clarify things more. If you read all those lines, page 257, you will see a few things repeat. Breastfeeding, age of 2. Yeah? Anyone who has breastfed you before the age of 2, they are directly haram, and their spouses would be haram, their children would be haram as well. This lady could have a child, boy. But because you are now the stepdaughter, I'm talking as if you guys are ladies here. You are the stepdaughter, you won't be able to marry this because he's your brother now, through this lady. Yeah? So you have 3 kinds of relationship. One is blood relationship, the other one is through marriage, and the last one is foster relationship, which is not so common, but you really want to find out still. It so happened that a man once got married to a lady. After years, find out that both of them were breastfed by the same lady when they were young.
So they get divorced.
The marriage is not valid. Technically, it's not valid. Yeah. Okay. Foster relations will only be established with a minimum of 5 separate nursings when being breastfed. If you don't understand that, don't worry about it. Okay, nikah. Now, let's talk about the conditions of nikah. For the nikah, to be valid, what are those things that you have to do or you have to perform? There are 4 things. Okay, 4 things. Of them, you have ijab and qabul. Yeah. Okay, so that's 1 and 2. Ijab means when you as a man, so in Islam, you as a man come with the proposal. There's nothing wrong if a lady finds, Ibrahim's cousin comes to Ibrahim says, our parents, uncle, yeah, no problem. But I mean, that's on an informal level. But then the proposal has to happen from the man's side, from the groom's side. Okay, so that's your proposal. Ijab is your proposal, and as a response to the proposal, there has to be acceptance. The acceptance has to be from the bride's side. Okay, who can execute that acceptance? The guardian. Yeah. So you are saying father, but maybe she doesn't have a father, right? So let's call guardian. Guardian, under the umbrella of guardian, it could be the father, it could be the grandfather, it could be uncle, somebody else elderly of the family, right? And in the absence of all of them, maybe someone righteous, pious in the community, or maybe an imam. Yeah. So a lady needs a guardian for the first marriage. If she's getting married for the second time, that's a different story. Okay. For the first marriage, she needs to have a guardian. So her and or her guardian has to accept. Okay. Ijab and qabul. Okay. Now what happens, one day I walk down the road and I see Ibrahim holding the hands and walking with a lady. Is it cousin? Okay. First cousin, huh? Especially, right? I'll be like, Ibrahim, mashallah. The fiqh class that we did for 2 years was of no use. Right? Because Ibrahim could very well get married, but what tells us or what tells people that that marriage is valid?
Nikah, ceremony.
Witness. Yeah? So you need witness. How many of them? Two. Okay, two what?
Male.
Good, trustworthy, sane, male, Muslim, potentially, okay? Ideally, Muslim, two Muslim male. Okay. What if we only have one Muslim male?
There's been one and two female.
One and two female. Excellent, Rohan. Okay. So one man equals to? One man doesn't equal two ladies. I think one man's testimony is equal to two ladies' testimony. Yeah? Okay. Right. Okay. When you do have two men, it's ideal to have one from each side, bride and groom. It doesn't have to be. It can be anyone from the road. Technically, it can be anyone from the road. But what's the guarantee that if anyone you just grab from the road and bring him here?
You'll never meet them again.
Sorry?
You'll never meet them again.
Exactly.
You can't like prove it.
And yeah, exactly. And there's a day after tomorrow, problem happens, and Ibrahim's wife turns around and says, "You never married me." And you're thinking, okay, where's that witness gone? Right? Actually, I don't know. He looked like an American, so he must have gone back. Yeah, it sounded like he was from Birmingham, right? So you ideally want to know who they are. When somebody is conducting the marriage, they're supposed to take their addresses. So when I conduct marriages, I have a form. I would get all these details. Okay. Without these details, I'm not going to conduct the marriage, because I'm only digging a grave for myself. If something happens, then people are going to come to me and say, "You're the man who conducted the marriage. How did you conduct the marriage?"
You conduct marriages.
Yeah. Looking to get married soon? No? Which cousin? First, second, third? Okay. Witness. Right. So, is that clear? Okay. Then we need, in every marriage, we need mahar. And the mahar goes from whom to whom? From the groom to bride. Yes. Yeah. Groom to bride. Bangladesh, Pakistan is the other way around.
Yeah.
Yeah, other way around. It's like you're buying the man. And in this country, of course, we follow the Islamic rule, but again, it's the same. It's like we're buying the lady. Yeah, minimum mahar is how much? 20,000 pound. 20,000 pound? I can buy a house for 20,000 pound. Isn't it? I can buy a house. I can pay deposit for a house. I can even, buy a good Nissan GTR or yeah. Okay, so mahar. Mahar is important. Without mahar, your marriage would not be valid. When do you give the mahar? Ideally, on the day when you get married. Can you defer it? Yes, you could defer it. But that agreement has to take place between you and Anis, are you on the phone by any chance?
Yeah.
Why?
I'm checking my phone.
Why?
Because I got a message.
Do you still need to check it?
No, I've already put it on.
Okay. Do not disturb is disturbing you.
No, I just put it
Okay. So mahar ideally you want to pay at the time when you're getting married. Okay. And if you cannot, or for whatever reason you want to do it later, that agreement has to take place when the marriage is taking place. Is that clear? Mahar can be a messy thing. Messy thing. Really messy thing. So always have that conversation. And sometimes it's ideal when the marriage is taking place and people are there not to blurt out the amount of the mahar. Yeah? Some people will say, what? You gave your daughter away for 500 pounds? Or 3,000 pounds? That is cheap. And on top they didn't even give any gold. Right? But marriage is supposed to be done simply. Yeah? Ideally the marriage should take place in a mosque. Ideally the marriage should happen in a mosque in a very simple manner. Okay? Call people, as many people as you want, but in a simple manner. Anis, you're distracted again.
No.
Thank you. Okay? Right. And then when it comes to mahar itself, on page 260, you will see there are a few definitions there. One is what? Mahar mithl. The other one is mahar azwaj and nabi, which means the mahar that Prophet ﷺ would give to his wives, which is equivalent to 500 dirhams, roughly what? 1487 grams of silver. Round it off. Roughly 1500 grams of silver. Work it out, however much it is. Actually, can you check it? However much it is. Yeah? And then Ali radiallahu anhu, when he married Fatima radiallahu anha. Who is Fatima radiallahu anha? Prophet sallallahu alaihi wasallam's daughter. Right? The marriage that Ali radiallahu anhu gave to Fatima radiallahu anha is called Mahar Fatimi, which is again similar amount, 1430 grams of silver. Ibrahim, this is your time to find out how much to give your...
It's worth
Is this like,
£1,049.
£1,049.
So £1,100 basically.
£1,000 roughly. Okay.
Is it fun to give this?
No, this was no minimum amount.
It's fard to give mahar. It's fard to give mahar. Now check this out. Okay, so put your phones away for now. So the mahar, roughly the mahar that Prophet ﷺ would have given to his wives, according to today's value, would have been roughly £1,000. Similarly, Ali radiallahu anhu marrying Prophet ﷺ's daughter, similar. Is that an amount that's acceptable? Is that an amount that's honorable in today's day and age? If you had a daughter and you were to get her married, if a man came and proposed, said, this is the mahar I'm going to give, would you be happy with that?
It depends about the man himself.
Actually, if you're getting married to a lady and you tell that lady's father, for your daughter, I'm offering £1,000. Take it or leave it.
No, I wouldn't have that.
Right? Okay. So now go to the second line, page 260. What does it say? Mahar?
There's no minimum amount.
No. Mahar, the second one. As in,
It's common.
mahar mithl.
The amount of mahar that is commonly
Mahar mithl. What is mithl here? The mahar that is appropriate to the society, the status of the lady. If a lady comes from a very high lineage, very wealthy, you can't offer them £1,000. You have to bump it up a little bit more, right? So I would say anywhere around £3,000 to £5,000 in today's day and age is respectable. Anything below that, it's probably not acceptable. It actually makes you look cheap.
What if like she asked just for like £10 or something?
If she's happy with that, yeah, thank you. Yeah.
Is mahar what you just give to your wife?
Yes, mahar is not something that her family gives, it's for her. Okay? And it's a sole property. The entire time that you're together for 40 years, 50 years, 60 years, that mahar is hers. You've given it. That's it. It's called, in English, you call it dowry.
What if she decides to give you some of it?
That's up to her. That's after marriage. But you have to pay it in full. If you have not paid it in full, then you are in debt. And if you die, you are dying with debt. Okay? That would be bad. Okay, so go back now. Go back to page 258. I've given you a rough idea. Now quickly let's read through. A nikah is done with a valid offer, again ijab, and acceptance in the presence of witnesses. Qabul, in the presence of witnesses. The offer is known as ijab, the acceptance is known as qabul. The ijab and qabul must be verbal. You can't send a text message and say, hey, you want to get married? No, it has to be verbal. Okay, said in the past or present tense, as in, I have married you. Is it in the past tense? Yeah? As opposed to, I will marry you, which is in the future tense. It has to be clear cut. There should not be any condition. I will marry you if the sun rises tomorrow. You can't put any conditions. Has to be clear cut. And must take place in the same gathering. Okay? As in the ijab, the acceptance, the proposal comes and everyone takes off. They come back tomorrow with the acceptance. It doesn't work. It has to be new proposal and acceptance. The marriage contract must not have any conditions, as I mentioned. The words nikah or tazweej must be mentioned in the ijab and qabul. Don't worry about that. Whoever is conducting the marriage, it's their forte. It is preferable that the marriage contract is done in Arabic. I normally do it in Arabic. What I do is I train the bride and the groom before. I tell them, or I send them a text message, this is exactly how I'm going to do it. So when I say something, don't repeat, but say what I want you to say it. Otherwise, you might be getting me married to your wife.
Do marriages?
Huh?
You just said that. Oh, yeah.
Clearly distracted today.
No, I heard something about convict, but I didn't know you did it.
Yeah. So it is preferable that the marriage contract is done in Arabic. However, it should be translated to the language that the bride and groom can understand. It is the right of the wali. The word wali means guardian of the bride to perform the ijab. It's her right. It's his right. The bride's father. A woman cannot marry without the wali. We spoke about it. There must be at least 2 witnesses who are not majnoon, not crazy guys, right? Just so that you can get married to your first cousin. They have to be Muslim, they have to be mature, they have to be sane, they have to be male and just. Okay? And of course, in the absence of one male, you can replace it with a lady. The witnesses must also be able to see and hear to witness the nikah. If the above conditions are met, nikah will take place. Note, the groom and the wali of the bride may be represented if they are unable to attend the gatherings of nikah in person. This representation is called wakala. Don't worry about that. That is very rare. It's like getting married on Zoom. Yeah, there's a representation. Okay, mahar. When getting married, it is necessary for the groom to give mahar to the bride. Necessary. Has to happen, okay? 5 more minutes, inshallah. Mahar is wajib, so that the husband appreciates his wife. It is not necessary to give the mahar at the time of the nikah. Okay, so what happens if these 2 parties, they decide to separate?
We need to go.
You need to go?
Yeah, because we need to go back to Manchester.
No problem. No problem. Go for it. Jazakallah. We'll continue for another 5 minutes, inshallah. And they can fill you in. Yeah. Okay, so what happens if the 2 parties decide to part ways? The bride and the groom, after 2 months. And the mahar had not been paid. At that moment, you have to now decide on paying the mahar off. Yeah. Let's say you decided on £20,000. Now you need to pay the entire £20,000. Unless that lady is very kind and says, you know what, you can pay it in installment. But when divorce is happening, I don't think anybody shows any kindness. Okay, so it is not necessary to give the mahar at the time of the nikah. However, it is preferable to give it before the nikah. If there is a mutual agreement, the mahar can even be deferred until a fixed date after the marriage ceremony. Anything of monetary value can be given as mahar. Anything of monetary value. You could potentially give dates, because dates you could potentially sell them and get money in return. Okay, it is not necessary to give cash only. However, the amount of mahar must be mutually agreed between the bride and the groom before the marriage takes place. The mahar is solely the property of the wife. She may do with it as she possesses. Page 260, we've just talked about the mahar. the different kinds of mahar, and the recommended method of nikah. We'll do that and we'll call it a day. To have the nikah ceremony on a Friday, okay? Because Friday is the best day of the week. To have the nikah ceremony in the masjid. Scholars and pious people should be invited because through them you gain blessings. Have the nikah performed by a pious person. It's not, people think that an imam has to conduct the marriage. Ibrahim can conduct a marriage, no problem. As long as he knows the rules pertaining to conducting a marriage, fine. Anyone can do it. Anyone can do it. It doesn't have to be an imam. Okay. Have the nikah performed by a pious person. For the groom to give a feast after the nikah, and this feast is coming from who? The grizzly groom, the man's side. Okay. They have to throw a party called walima. So generally, what happens is in our Desi culture, we have two parties, isn't it? One is from the men's side and one is from the girl's side, and you travel from city to city, right? Ideally, what needs to happen? Minimum. Throw as many parties as you want, no problem, okay? Knock yourself out. Just one party, and that comes from whose side? The groom's side, okay? And this should happen soon rather than later, okay? It can happen several months later as well, no problem. But what does it say here? It says that it should happen after the consummation takes place, i.e. the intimate relationship has taken place. Who's going to go around and say, shall we throw the party? Did you? Right? So don't worry about those things. Yeah, these are fluid. Dua when greeting the bride or groom. When you go to the walima and you see the bride or the groom, I mean, ideally you should not see the bride, you should see the groom. Right? What do you say? Barakallahu laka wa baraka alayka wa jama'a baynakuma fi khayr. That may Allah subhanahu wa ta'ala bless you. May Allah subhanahu wa ta'ala have His blessings descend upon you, and may He unite you both in goodness. Okay? So with that being said, we finish nikah. I would have liked to do more, but that's our nasib today. And we'll continue with talaq, inshallah ta'ala, next class. What we'll do is try and see if we can read from page 262 up to page 269. So we'll only talk about talaq and actually ijara as well perhaps, which is business. I think we can finish it, inshallah. Inshallah, I think we can finish it, inshallah. Subhanakallahumma wa bihamdik, ashhadu an la ilaha illa ant, astaghfiruka wa atubu ilaik.